Hey everyone, my name is Kushash Vishmali and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. This YouTube video is a part of the series of Portrait Bouquet, which I have already talked about in the previous live sessions. If you guys want to check that out, you can check that out in my YouTube channel. But this YouTube video will focus on the very first step of Portrait Bouquet. Now, before I go ahead and talk about it, I really want you guys to understand what this is all about. So portrait bouquet, whenever you buy a smartphone, right, and you take a picture of yourself, you will sometimes realize that there's a lot of noise in the background that you don't really want. Like for example, a person is standing just besides you and he is doing something which you don't really want others to see. Like for example, you're taking a pic with your friends and you realize that okay, that guy is not my friend, but he's still in the pic, right? So you don't really want that guy to be in that photo, right? So what you can do is you can just bring your mobile closer to all of you and turn on the portrait mode, right? So it will only highlight those 5 people if you have 5 friends. I mean, if you have 4 friends, then it will only show the faces of the 5 people in the photo, and rest all of it will go. It will just blur out. Okay, those will still stay, but all 5 of you will be highlighted. Now think about it. Okay, this is a really nice idea, and this is basically a very simple implementation. If you think about it, all you have to do is take the face of the people around there, right? So first of all, you have to get a face. Once you have the face, you can blur the whole image and put that face on that blurred image, right? Suppose I have a whole image, I have myself in it, right? You can see on the screen, okay? And you can just take my face out of it, okay? Blur the whole image and put my face back. So what will happen? Everything will be blurred except my face, right? So this is just the first step to show you guys how to implement this. But we're going to start with the first step, which is really basic, okay? But in the step 2, we're going to give it closer to the implementation side. We're going to go closer, and in the step 3 will be mighty closer, okay? So it's going to be real fun. I hope you guys like it. If you're from the live session, I hope looking for revision and all, you can just watch this video, and I hope this helps you out. Just a quick note that a lot of people came to me and argued about whether this is computer vision or not. Guys, see, we are doing face detection. That means we have somehow trained the model to understand how face looks like. So first of all, that is a part of computer vision, because that is how I see it. Where you train the machine to understand from images, that is computer vision, right? So that is a part of computer vision. That is a part of this project as well. And we are starting from the step 1. This might not be the complete CV project, but as we move along, we'll be very, very closer to calling it a whole computer vision project, right? So this is a good start. So if you really want, if you have any arguments, if you really want to discuss about it, post in the comments. We can talk about it in the live sessions. So let's go and talk about this project first. Okay, let's get back on track. All right. So as I told you, we have the input image you can see on the screen. That is mine, right? And this is how I look like in real life as well. But what should be the first step? I think the first step should be try to get the face. Once we have the face, we can play with it, okay? So the first step is always try to get the first step done. And the first step is what? Try to get the face. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and start coding. Let's dive right in. Okay, I'm going to call this project step 1 main.py. So it just shows that I'm on the step 1, right? Step 1, by that I mean the very basic implementation. Okay, so this file will be the very basic implementation of portrait bouquet using OpenCV. So first of all, you import the libraries, right? So how do you do that? Import cv2 sys. That is just okay. Let me just zoom in for you. So import cv2 sys. This is just I'm going to use for command line arguments, and cv2 is of course OpenCV module. So let's go ahead and make a main function. I'll be making sure that I write comments for that so that you guys can read it after this, okay? And whenever you're watching, maybe you muted me or something, then you guys can just read the screen, okay? Okay, so this is the main function, and let's try and read the input image first of all, okay? That's the first step, right? cv2.imread. Now what should be the image path? I have already a sample.png file which you can see on the screen as well in this current folder. So I can directly pass sample.png, and I can say 1, which is the color mode, but I can also type cv2.imread unchanged. This means that whatever the channel mode of the image be, it will be that only. Like if the image is grayscale, then it will take it as a grayscale. Okay, so this is really important. You can just say one as well, it will take it as a color image. Okay, but how about we take a command line argument? We take the image path as a command line argument. That is a really good programming practice. So just watch out what I'm gonna do. It will be really understandable, I hope. Right. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm taking the first argument after my Python 3 step 1 main.py, that command. After that, whatever the path given, I'll take that as the image path and I'll try to read that image. Okay. But how do I do that? If I have that command line argument given, I'll take that as that is the image path. If I do not have the command line argument, then what I'll do, I'll take it by default as sample.png. Okay. Then I'll try to read the image. Okay. What if the image is not read properly? There can be so many errors, right? The image might be corrupt. There can be something wrong with the header files and all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a if condition. If image is none, then you print some statement and exit. So that if the image is not read properly, if the path was wrong or anything, the program should exit. Okay, let's bring it here. This is much better. And I can just exit from the program using sys.exit 0. Immediately exit. Okay, that is it. Right. So this is the first step. We have read the image. We have kind of put an if condition. If it was read successfully, then okay, move ahead. If it was not, then exit from the program. But what's next? Let's try to get a face. Now, how do you detect the face? If you have not seen before, you can go to my live session. But I'm just going to explain in brief how it happens. First of all, you have to convert the image to grayscale because that is what kind of input it takes. And it's also good because you see, for detecting the face, you don't really need RGB channel. If only you have one grayscale channel, that works. Because it doesn't matter if my face is red, green or blue, what kind of pixels do I have in blue channel, that doesn't matter. And it also reduces the competition because for one location you have three pixel values, three channel values, that is RGB, which is a lot if you do a computation on the whole image. But if you have only one channel, that means for one pixel you have only one value, right? So this reduces the computation by 3 times. Okay, so earlier you have one pixel, 3 values. Now you have one pixel, only one value. That means the number of computations, whatever that is happening, it will be reduced, right? So let's go ahead and first convert the image to grayscale. This is how you do it. And let's just put a comment, right? So we converted the image to grayscale. Now what next? Let's initialize a phase detector. Name it phase cascade is equal to what? cv2.cascade classifier. What's the path? The path is what? The path of the model, right? So here what I'm doing, I have somebody trained a model on a lot of faces, right? The model understood how it works. The model got the features of it and it got saved into this higher cascade frontal face default.xml. So I load this model and initialize a face detector, which is an object from this class, cascade classifier, right? So this class has a lot of methods which we can use to detect a face. So this is what we're going to do. And we already have this model saved in the current folder. So you can also go and check out OpenCV's extra repository and try to get this model. Also, like if you can just search this on Google, you'll find this file. Okay. So this is how it is. You just initialize a face detector and then you try to detect a face out of this image. How do you do that? So there's a function, there's a method of this class cascade classifier called detect multiscale, where you can just pass the image, which is gray here. Then what you can do, you have to pass the scale factor, which is by default 1.1. Then you have min neighbors, which are by default, I think 5, if I'm not wrong, but let's use 5 here. So guys, these arguments can be tweaked. Okay, later on you can just play with it. I'm just going to explain how the scale factor works. See, because whenever you pass an input image, sometimes it might happen that the face is very small in that image, or it's very big in that image. So how do you do that? Whenever you have an input image, this whole class will scale it every step. So it does it in few steps, right? Every step it is scaling it by 1.1. So that is how it works. So you can just play with the scale factor. By default, I hope it is 1.1, but I changed it a couple of times. 1.1 seemed to work for me. So you guys can, tinker it and play with it. Okay. Now you get the faces, but this faces, right? So this is a list of faces. Basically how it happens, like there will be face 1, there will be face 2, and so on. So what does it mean? That let's just print this out. Okay, you will understand. So I printed the detected faces here. I'm just printing the faces variable as it is, and let's try to run this code. Okay. All right, I've run this code and I see that it prints a list of lists, right? It's a 2D list. So it only detected one face, and those are the coordinates. But what are those coordinates? I'm just going to explain it now. Part of these coordinates is top left x comma top left y comma width comma height. So these are the coordinates of the face we got, right? This is for the face 1. If we had multiple faces, it will be 1 for the face 1, 1 for the face 2, 1 for the face 3, and so on. So that is why it is a 2D list. So what do we do? All we have to do is we have to iterate through this faces list. For face in faces, we can just do this, right? And let's try to crop this face out of my whole image and show you how it's working, so that you guys, we can cross check that the model detected the right face. So how do you do that? You take img, which was the original image variable, and let's try to crop it or slice. So you always remember, in OpenCV we keep the y coordinate first and then the x coordinates. Right, so this is going to be the face, right? That is it. And let's try to show this image to you. I'll quickly add wait key 0 and destroy all windows. All right. Okay, I did a mistake. Of course. Assume that top left y is a variable, but okay, let's do this. Let's just try to get rid of this thing, because we don't have these variables initialized. I was just considering that we had from the comments. Okay, but let's do this. Face of 1 will be top left of y, face of 1 again, then height will be what? Face of 3, because the indexes start from 0. Similarly here, sorry, I think we are good to go, right? My bad. Do we have faces here? Yeah, right. Okay, so you can see the face detected here. It shows the cropped face, and this is really nice. So whatever the face that was detected according to the model, it is a face. So this is really important. Whenever you run the program, you check it again, that whatever output we are getting, it's right. So it's a good debugging thing. Do not code the whole project in one go. Try to get results one by one, go step by step. That will be really nice. Face we are getting, it is a face. Okay, so how do we go forward? Think about it. What I told you, let's blur the whole image, and whatever face we got, you just put it back. So what happens? Everything is blurred except the face. So let me show you how it does, how it happens. So what we can do is, let's blur the whole image here, and let's perform Gaussian blur. You can do any blurring, right? Whatever that suits you. And let's blur the whole image, and the kernel size I'm gonna, let's take 13,13 so that the difference is actually shown. 13,13 is the kernel size which the Gaussian blur function uses. You can go and check the documentation if you want, or we will be discussing about this in the live sessions. So you can check that out. Okay. By default, the argument stays 0. The next argument, so I'm going to keep it that. And I'm going to store the output into blur object. Okay. And what next? What do you want me to do? So you remember I told blur the whole image. In the blur image, you replace the face coordinates, whatever that area was, with the cropped face. So let's do this. Here, all I have to do is blur face of 1 to face of 1 plus face of 3. Again, the same thing, right? I hope I'm not doing any mistakes, right? That is it. So this should work. I can also show you the output portrait bokeh. Blur, right? Try to run this thing. Nice. I'm damn sure that you guys can understand what's happening, right? Earlier the whole image was blurred. So we blurred the whole image, and then whatever face we detected, right? We put that back in. So it's as simple as that. And I know what you're thinking right now. Okay, let me just guess. You're thinking that this is not the output we want, because the face that whatever you see, it's kind of a rectangle, of course, because we cropped the rectangle, right? I mean square or rectangle. It's a square. So how do we go forward? Wait for the next video. We'll talk about it. If you have already attended the live session, I think you might already know, but we can crop a circle, because our face, either it can be ellipse. I'm probably that mine is an ellipse. For some, it can just be a line. I'm just kidding. Okay. So a lot of people have different shapes, right? And we are just considering for once, let's take circle and let's try to crop a circle. If we can crop a circle, we'll be closer to what we want. So that's going to be in the next video, and we're going to talk about it. But before you go, let's make this code a little nice, okay? Because this is important. Let's go and do this thing. What if there's no face? It doesn't print anything, right? So let's do this before doing anything, right? Let's say if length of faces is equal to 0, that means we do not have any face, right? Then print no face detected, and let's say exiting. Okay. So whenever you code, it's a really nice thing to think about all the conditions. Okay, to think about what is the worst case. Can there be any black hole kind of thing where we are stuck? You know, do not get in that position. Try to think of all the possibilities, and then make sure that you bring your code to public, right? So before you do anything, think about, okay, there can be no faces, there can be no image, the image can be corrupted or anything, right? So we have done this on. It's really nice. Okay. And how do you do this for multiple faces? Think about this. Okay, I think you guys get the point how to do that. If not, then all you have to do is bring the cv2.im show out of this for loop and try an experiment. This might work. So this is it for now, and I hope that you guys understood what's the idea behind portrait bokeh initially. When we are talking about it, let's try to get the basic model ready, then we can go ahead and talk about how to make it more production ready, right? So I hope you guys like the video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm just doing it for so that people understand that it's not just about coding the projects, it's about taking them into production. It's about talking about the performance as well. Here, I know we didn't talk about performance, but in the next videos, we will talk about performance. So not to say that accuracy is not important. Okay, I'm not saying that, but at the same point of time, as students, as industrialists, whatever, you have to think about performance as well, because at some point of time, it's going to go somewhere, right? You can't really trust and count on every electronic guy around there to keep improving all this transistors thing, to make sure that we go forward in this GPU efficiency thing as well. So I hope you guys like this video. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I repeat. Okay, and wait for my next video, and God bless you guys. If you are watching this in 2020, by the way, my heart goes to all of you. I've been through a lot, and I'm damn sure that a lot of people have been through a lot. So please, guys, keep working hard. This is the only way through which we can recover, and that's the best way out of it. Okay. And if you're not watching in 2020, damn sure you're watching it after 2020. Remember that 2020 was really tough for a lot of people. So uh, it might come again, it might not come again. So the only solution is to keep working hard, to stay healthy, guys, stay fit, and God bless you, everyone. Take care. Thank you.